the moment you get accountable for whatever you're doing, that moment you heal so fast and you understand that everything that is happening to your life is by your authority. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and welcome to the Kingdom Steward channel. This channel basically is a channel that is here for you, and it's here for me as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to, without much ado, to go today to our main topic. Basically, I want us to talk about blames, effects of blames, and how to avoid blames. The moment we learn about avoiding blaming others, the moment we move up. At the moment, like in our next content that we'll actually upload, we'll be talking about effects of bitterness and genesis of it. How bitterness comes up, and also how bitterness stops us from growing. And bitterness comes from where we are discussing right now. Blames. If blames are not well avoided, they grow into bitterness. Bitterness is worse than any other disease we can think of, because bitterness even affects yourself. It does not just affect the people you are interacting with, but it also affects yourself. So let's avoid bitterness in whatever way possible. But in our next video, we are going to discuss in depth of the causes of blames. If we are in authority, we refuse to take responsibility and we refuse to be accountable for every action that we did, it develops to blames. And the moment we blame people and we don't really heal from the blames, or we don't really get it right that the blames are supposed to be on us, that moment we grow or we develop the blames into what we call bitterness. Now, you'll allow me to mention the time when Apostle Paul was speaking to the people of Romans. And in the book of Romans chapter 2, from verse 1 to 3, you hear him warn Christians never to be people who pass judgments. And allow me to read very, very fast from this part. The Bible, Romans chapter 2, verse 1 to 3, it reads, "You therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgments on someone else. For at whatever point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same thing." Okay, let's look at these three words: being in authority, being responsible, and being accountable. Those three words will bring us to understand better how blame games and how bitterness comes. Authority, in its context, is the power or is the right to make decisions without actually or constantly seeking for permissions. So when you're in authority, you make decisions without consulting, right? But though there are some times when authority needs consultations, but authority is when you can make decisions. You are in authority, like in yourself. You make decisions for whatever thing you want. You are in authority of yourself, right? Yes. Responsibility is actually owning up for the action that you did. And accountability is accepting the consequences and narrating them. You can also narrate them, but basically you're just accepting the consequences of the authority that you had and actions therein. Accountability is actually the action of accepting the consequences of the action that you took when you're in authority, right? Blames happen. Ladies and gentlemen, blames happen when an individual who was in authority when an activity happens refuses to take responsibility for the actions he did, or refuse to be accountable for the actions that happened when he was in authority. It's our mandate, according to how Paul spoke to the people of Romans, never to accept refusal of taking or being accountable or taking responsibility for whatever actions we did for when we were in authority of ourselves. What did you do in yourself to take care of your responsibilities? Personally, in my own experience, I remember I took myself to college. My father was in a position to. My parents were in a position to take me to college and pay my school fees from A to Z. But it never happened. I took myself to college. I never stood to give that opportunity later to the blame games. I took responsibility, and actually I'm now accountable for whatever actions I did when I was in authority. I think we are getting it right. If it were not that I took some actions and taken myself to college, right now I'll be blaming my parents for not being able to take me to college. 6 items that we can do to avoid blaming others. To avoid blaming others. But if you're already blaming others, then I will also talk about the last one. It will be helpful for you, because if you're already blaming others, you have there's some things which are not going to be relevant for you. Now, item number 1, be aware. The moment you're doing anything, the moment you're aware that this thing can result to a blame, so you can mark your boundaries. You can take control of anything that will make you blame somebody. You can avoid anything that can actually lead to blames. And if there will be any blame, then you'll be aware that this is my own. Number two, talk about it. The moment something happens and it was not within your ability to control it, but it has happened, talk about it. Talking about anything that has happened in your life or a situation that you found yourself into will stop you from blaming people. And the moment you stop blaming people, you realize you take it back to yourself. And the moment you take it back to yourself, you heal so fast of the thing that happened to you. The moment you heal so fast, now you can move on. Or you can avoid it developing into bitterness. Something that I said we are discussing in our next video. The moment you talk about it, you heal a lot in your life. Number 3. Item number 3. Be accountable for any mistake that you do. Being accountable, actually, we discussed it in the opening remarks of the video. Now, anything that you talk about and you realize you played a part on it, take responsibility. That's our point number 3. Be accountable for your mistakes. The moment you be accountable for your mistakes and say, this happens because I allowed it to happen. I was an authority. It happened because I allowed it to happen. The moment you take that step, you're able to heal from blaming others. You're able to heal from it developing into bitterness, something which will hinder you from movement, from growing. Point number 4. If you really have to, blame constructively. That's the same as point number 2, where we talk about it. But then here, blame constructively. Don't blame people without giving them room to also be fair. You give everything the fair part of being listened to. Don't blame others unconstructively. You don't want to listen to their end of the story. Maybe them also, they were not in control of what happened, but you feel like you want to blame them. But the moment you learn how to blame people constructively, we're able to actually grow. Set an example. The moment you set an example, be above par. It actually creates a sense of inner security. The moment you set up example, it reduces the chances of developing an inner insecurity. And the moment we develop inner security because of setting an example, we reduce chances of lashing out on others because of we didn't set up an example. Point number 6, reward mistakes as much as possible. You know, when rewarding mistakes, we actually avoid blames. Because when you reward mistakes, you actually take up things that you are able to control, right? Rewarding mistakes basically is, there's some mistakes that come in our lives to teach us, to shape us, to correct us, or to make us learn. Whenever that one happens, it's easier for us to learn and scale up in a manner that is actually godly and able to help us grow. So ladies and gentlemen, let's avoid blame games as much as possible. If there's anything that you feel we didn't cover well, please, in our comment down below, advise us on how well you can do it, so that we can also learn together. We believe by these few remarks, you're able to narrow down anything that is going to happen, and we're going to avoid mistakes as much as we can. We're going to avoid blaming others. We are going to kill bitterness that might grow because of not owning up on mistakes, and we are going to be the smartest people ever. I'm your kingdom steward, Chris, and I would like to see you not blaming people. I'd like to see you happy person. I'd like to see you not engaging into bitterness, because these 3 things, they kill. So ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Let's engage in healthy discussions. Let's engage in things that are going to help us grow together in your relationships, in your workplaces, in your businesses. Let's avoid blame games. Let's avoid blaming people as much as we can. And the moment we engage these 6 steps that we have talked about, we'll be able to live a very happy life. And may God bless all of us. May God bless you, my viewer. Please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, feel free to press on the subscription button, and also like, comment, share, so that you can also grow and learn. God bless you.